was standing outside waiting for you. You were always taking time, baby, playing it through. I was calling out your name, put my eyes on the wall. You were running like a ghost from me. You were running from it all. You got me waiting, I'm on fire. You got me waiting, my desire.
So we're out here in a convention center. So far all I've done is look at a bunch of machines that I'm probably never going to use. I've tried a bunch of samples of cream of rice, some kind of cookie dough, different ways, different protein bars. You know how frustrating it is having to ask every single person whether or not there's gluten in things. This intolerance is a pain in my hiney. I don't know what this has to do with bodybuilding, but Cybertruck. Now that we've made our way through the majority of the convention, we can now go check out the bodybuilding show. Like I said, tried a whole bunch of snaps, met a whole bunch of cool people. Unfortunately, didn't get to film it, but let's go have a look at what the show has to offer.
You got me waiting, my desire. I follow your heartbeat. Keep on moving to the purpose now, to the ending of the ocean. Keep on moving to the purpose now, to the ending. I follow your heartbeat away, away, away. I follow your heartbeat away. Keep on moving to the purpose now, to the ending of the ocean.
I'm about to step out of the show temporarily, getting a call in with a client while I get some steps in. Only missing the 212 division. Don't really give a shit about those little pipsqueaks anyway. We got the classic and the open categories up next. A few more cool things to have a look around, and gonna go grab some more of that cookie dough and some more cream of rice samples because they were unreal. Got distracted doing steps. I hear some commotion in the competition, which we're gonna go check it out now. Time to head back in. Let's see what Classic has to offer.
Waiting for you. You were always taking time, baby.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong spot. We're headed out. It wasn't Classic. It was men's physique. I wasn't too upset about missing the 212, but I really could not give less of a shit about missing MP. I'm sorry, boys. I'm not watching a bunch of freaks in board shorts wiggle their arm at me. We'll head back in when the big show starts.
You got me waiting, my desire. Keep on moving to the purpose now, to the ending of the ocean. Keep on moving to the purpose now,
Yes, people, coming at you live the morning after the Dubai Pro. You would have seen some footage from when I was at the event. We're going to do a little wrap up of the event, the placement, and how it all went. So to start off, it was quite a big event. There were some big names there, some big competitors. It's the third year that they're doing this show. It's the biggest bodybuilding show in the UAE. Between that and the Benoist Classic coming up in, I believe, September, which is going to be exciting to see. But it came along with a convention. It had a bunch of amateur and pro classes and some very big named athletes that came to play ball. I will say the convention bit wasn't too exciting. It was all local brands that we're all very familiar with. I mean, here there's not many internationally established brands that sort of stock their product here or that are even available for purchase, because it's just the delivery fees are insane for these imported products. So a load of UK and US brands we just can't get. I was hoping a few of these companies would at least show face at a show like this, because of the caliber and the budget of the show, that at least what they're trying to put out, the show that they're trying to be, the show that they're trying to become. Because it's, like I said, it's only the third year. It's one that I expect to keep growing over and over and over again over the coming years because of the budget that they have, not only as prize money for the competitors, but for the event, for the production quality, for the live stream and everything. It will be a big event in the future. It was just a bit upsetting to see all of our local brands in the convention center giving out samples and selling products, but it's all things that we see every single day in every pharmacy, every gym, every shop that we go to in the UAE. I think the day a UK or US supplement and clothing brand establishes themselves in the UAE, it's going to be game changer, because bodybuilding is very, very quickly climbing in the Middle East, mostly because of the budget, because of the caliber of athletes that they have. There's so many bodybuilders that are unable to compete in other countries, the US, the UK, Europe, because of visa issues, which is something we'll get into in a bit. But because of this is sort of their biggest show. This is their biggest showing for the season, for their career most likely, because this is where they can comfortably peak. They don't have to worry about traveling. They don't have to worry about visas. They can 100% guaranteed compete here in the best possible conditions. So there are some very, very crazy physiques. Some that are Olympia level physiques that are just unable to make it there. They can't make it to the US to actually compete. But we're going to go through a little wrap up here from what I saw and from what they've posted. So let's start with this class, the 212. Not something that I'm personally invested in, not something I follow too closely. But this was a very stacked lineup with some crazy, crazy physiques. The person that I wanted to address firstly, the man who came second. This was a very, very stacked class and very entertaining to watch. The winner, very well done to him. But the man of the hour, the man who came second, made his pro debut at 21 years old. He looks absolutely ridiculous. I believe he turned pro at 20. On the day, there were some debate about him winning. But like I said, it was a very stacked class. It was very close. And the caliber of judges that we had at the show are trustworthy. They made the right decision. These are Olympia level judges. But here's the top 5. Very big win. $20,000 US straight in his pocket. Love to see it. And we had last year's champion in the top 5 again. 2 times Olympian. I've seen this guy around the gym quite often. Crazy, crazy physique. It was a very, very stacked lineup for one. I personally really, really like this guy's shape. And this guy's condition was absolutely ridiculous in person. But overall, I think this was our winner. Very well deserved. Another thing I will say about this was also very good comparatively. Seeing the winner from last year, seeing what it takes to dethrone him, what it takes for him to then climb back up the ranks. He will be going to the Olympia, and seeing how he's going to stand next to those guys gives us an idea of how these guys will do in the future. This is a kid, man. He's got such a bright future. If he can stay healthy, if he can stay on track, if he can keep making the developments that he has, because since he went pro, he's made a big, big jump. And seeing him next to a man like this, once we see him next to the Mr. Olympia level physiques, we'll get a bit of a better idea of his timeline moving forward. Very cute that they gave these guys some stage time. Classic. Let's get into the exciting bits. The thing with the classic category in this show, there was a very, very wide range of athletes. The caliber was very on the floor and through the roof. Having a 2 times Mr. Olympia on stage sort of shifted that average across. But there were some physiques that just couldn't hang. Some of them were, the posing was very off. Some of them, the condition was very off. Some of these guys, I don't know if it was to do with the event timing and how things were going, but some of these guys were really, really rushed for their own routines and the comparison rounds. It was like people were posing as if they had somewhere better to be. I didn't have a lot of time for comparisons, but I'm assuming the judges got all the data that they needed. But the top 5, absolutely ridiculous physiques. I will say, however, as soon as Brion hit the stage, it was lights out. It was a very clear indication that there are levels to this. The difference between an Olympia level physique and an Olympia winner compared to other IFBB pros, it's night and day sometimes. And it was very exciting to see someone like Brion in this show. He's a very, very big name in the industry. He brought a lot of credibility to the show, which is what the show needs to develop over the coming years. Needs a little bit of credibility. It's got some very, very big names. I mean, there were very big guests in the convention. Phil Heath was there. Roy Lee Winkler was there. Regan Grimes was there. Some very big names in bodybuilding. And seeing people like this on stage is just going to encourage more and more Olympia level physiques to come over and compete for this prize money, which I believe was $60,000 US for the classic division. But this was Brion's first time doing a show in Dubai, possibly in the Middle East. He said he is interested in doing it again, coming back and defending his title. I don't think it has anything to do with the medal, but more to do with the fact that that prize money is a very, very nice one. And it's going to continue to climb over the coming years as the budget just increases, as the show gets bigger. But he's qualified for the Olympia, and he's looking to get that title back. He was very vocal about that. He's looking to claim that Mr. Olympia spot once again, which, after his talks about going into the 212 division, I guess it sort of cements that he's still in Classic for now, especially saying he's going to come back and defend this title, and he's going to the Mr. Olympia. There might be some other shows that he's going to do this season. I mean, there's one coming up in Italy in 2 months' time, which would be exciting to see him competing again while he's in shape, while he's in condition before hitting the Olympia. So we get another little sneak peek of what it is that he's going to be bringing. But in Classic, he was the man on stage. He owned every single second of that comparison round, especially when it came to the Classic proportions that they're looking for. The big arms, the X frame, the disproportionately large, thick and wide back. The back double on Brion was just ridiculous, especially in comparison to some of these other guys. But it is nice seeing these smaller level athletes, especially newcomers, this guy. It's nice seeing them stood next to people like Brion, both for their own career and development, but also their comparison to see what they need to do to get even better. Because some of these guys are very young, they're going to be making their way up in the future. Let's get into the exciting bits. The Open. This is a very exciting class to see, a very wide range of physiques once again. And people with different strengths, which was the most fun part. Because when you're on the Olympia stage, everyone's sort of competing for these minute, small changes. But on here, we had people that were coming in big. We had people coming in peeled. We had people coming in with proportion. We had people coming in with different levels of posing ability, which was very exciting to see comparatively. Here's a nice little shot of the lineup. I think, again, a lot of this, there was a lot of talk on the day for preference of what people were looking for in Open. But like I said, these are Olympia-level judges. What they say goes, especially when it comes to this type of event leading up to the Olympia, where there's this much on the line. So, what I saw was Rubiel came in almost as expected, didn't come in quite as conditioned as we liked. Bonac did what he did. I mean, he's a veteran in the game. He knows how this works. Very well-rounded as well. But comparatively, when it comes to being stood next to someone this big and someone this big, it's very difficult to hold your own. But he did exactly that. The levels of condition in the Open class was also very widely ranged. Some people coming in very soft. Some people coming in very peeled but too small. And also, one thing that became very prevalent was posing experience. Some of the younger guys, they didn't quite show off their strengths as well as you would have hoped at their level. It became very obvious that there are levels to this. Here's our top 3. So my predictions were Bonac placing top 3, Dasher placing top 3, him placing top 5 and Rubiel, I said if Rubiel can crack the top 5, he's got a lot to look forward to in the future, because you're stood next to some crazy level physiques. And for him, he's very much new to the game, and he was very much being called an Instagram bodybuilder, especially the memes around his neck. People were saying he's next up. I say people, that was me on my story. So here's our top 3. So obviously it was Behrooz Tabani winning, Bonac coming in second, Dasha taking third. A very good top 3. I think this sort of solidifies that the top 3 went the way that it should have. Very well-rounded, but also absolutely massive with crazy conditioning, some insane shape. And Bonac coming in very, very dry, a little bit smaller, but he had that shape as well. And then Dasha coming in a little bit softer in some areas. We can see around here the glutes compared to these guys, the hamstrings. But the amount of size that this man has, when you see it in person, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think this muscle maturity, the quality of muscle that Bonac has, is the reason for him beating out Dasha here. But Behrooz qualified for the Olympia. Unfortunately, due to the circumstances with his visa, I don't think he'll be able to attend. There is currently a petition up for them to sort of get him permission to go, because he's earned the right to. But like I said, that's what's going to make these shows in the Middle East so big, the Dubai Pro, the Banús Classic, because of this caliber of physiques that are unable to attend other shows. So this is their biggest showing for their season. So I think these shows in the Middle East are going to blow up, especially considering the prize money, the budget that they have for the production value, and now also the credibility that they have with names like this taking part in the show. But it was very, very unfortunate news for Rubiel being ill. It came out that he was sick the week leading up, so it would have messed with his peak. It's thrown off his condition and unfortunately pulled him out of that top 3 placement. He was very clearly the biggest in some areas, disproportionately large, but you can tell very soft. Condition wasn't quite there, especially in comparison with the top 3. But Rubiel has a very exciting future. He's now got some stage time next to some veterans, some big names. And considering the circumstances with him being ill, traveling, we can comfortably say he's got a big future in the game if he can nail some of these aspects that other people in the past haven't been able to. People in very similar positions to him that are disproportionately large, they have a very unique shape, and they can bring condition. They just need to nail that dryness and nail their peak. And he's got a lot of hype around his name. You can tell the fans were very much looking forward to seeing him in person. But unfortunately, with him being ill, and also just the state of the lineup. In the open, I had Dasha doing very well. He's one of my favorite physiques. It's a very unique shape, especially his waist, to his shoulders, his back shots. But Bonac snuck that one on condition and shape, I believe. It was a clear winner, though. And it was exciting to see some local athletes crack the top 5 as well. Here's the scorecards. We'll click through this while we wrap this up. So I think in the future, there's a big bodybuilding scene in Dubai, in the UAE, that people are going to be taking advantage of, whether that is accompanying industries such as the supplement, machines for the gyms, clothing, accessories, all of them coming alongside and being sponsors, being affiliates in the game, but also the investors in terms of prize money and bringing a high level caliber physiques into the UAE leading up to the Mr. Olympia. It was a very exciting show. It was very fun to see. Very nice to see the UAE establishing themselves as a city that is going to be hosting bodybuilding in the future. There's no better place for it. I mean, it's a huge place for content creation. It's a huge place for the industry. There's so much money flying around in the game. A lot of potential here. But like I said, needs a couple more years to develop, a couple more years to brew, but it's slowly getting there. But it was a very exciting show, being able to see all the big names that train at Banús, that create content out of Banús, that are now going to be competing in the shows coming up. I mean, like I said, there's the Italy, there's the Banús Classic, and then obviously the Mr. Olympia for the people that have qualified here. And there's still spots for people to be able to qualify leading up to that. So we got a nice showing for all of these physiques. All in all, very good experience. Looking forward to seeing these physiques in the future in the upcoming shows this year and in the years to follow. Also very excited to see the development of the bodybuilding game in the UAE. But that is my wrap up for the Dubai Pro, the biggest bodybuilding show in Dubai. Go follow Bodybuilders Without Borders. Go follow Buys and Tries on Instagram. Go follow the Dubai Pro. Go follow Oxygen Gym, Benus Gym, all on Instagram to stay tuned and follow these athletes. Keep an eye out for the shows to come. Subscribe to this channel for more bodybuilding content. Like the video if this is something that you want to see in the future. Comment down below what you thought about this show, what you think about the shows coming up, and subscribe for all future content. That is all from me for now. Peace.